Just a couple weeks ago, we discussed the best and worst times to buy a new car or used car as well, for that matter. And the best months to buy is typically in the height of winter. It starts picking up October, December, November. I know I just skipped November, but the fall all the way into late winter are the best times to get a good deal on a car. You can see January being by far the best, but the market is changing quickly right now in favor of the customer, the buyer. And we have a new article from IC Cars talking about extraordinarily high inventory. And when you have high inventory as a dealer, you're losing money. And when you're losing money, well, you need to sell cars even at a loss sometimes to get them off the lot before they bleed you out. So today, we're going to talk about which vehicles are in really high supply, which vehicles are still available as leftovers. There's nothing bad about a leftover car. There are some drawbacks, but typically it is a very good thing to consider. Guys, make sure to stay to the end because after I go over this list from IC Cars, I will also take into consideration the best cars I've driven in 2025 and the best deals you're going to find on some of the not only best-selling cars of 2025, but the best cars I've reviewed, the most enjoyable, the most well-designed, also oftentimes the most reliable. All right, so stay to the end because I will feature those cars on this list as well today. All right, so if you guys are excited for today's content, today's little state of the market / buying guide. If you guys appreciate that, hit the like button, subscribe for more. I have a lot of stuff coming, not so much this month or next month, but February is going to be busy. I have trips for Toyota and Mazda, and you won't want to miss those for new car driving impressions. So let's get into this. 2026 is right around the corner, but we have even 24, there are some 24 models still out there that dealers are just begging to get rid of. The Dodge Hornet has the highest share of leftover inventory of 2024 inventory. What do I recommend? Those vehicles, well, watch my reviews on them, all right, on my channel. I'll try to put them in the bubble around my face. They're not bad cars. In fact, I reviewed the Tonale earlier this year, which is the Alpha version. It's really a fire sale only car, which means it's okay, but it's just priced too high. But when you see price cuts like this, well, that's the market speaking for what this car's worth actually is. Among SUVs, Jeep Grand Cherokee ranks second behind the Hornet. Weird, another Stellantis product. The Lexus GX 550 leads for 2025 SUVs. Well, this is extraordinarily misleading because while these other cars, like the GX 550 is in extraordinarily high demand and low supply. The 2026 models just haven't arrived yet. So that's the thing. Like that's where these numbers are a little misleading. So if we look at new Lexus GX here, GX 550, there's only 90 in my area, right? So all the cars we've seen so far are really low volume. At least in availability. The i4 is a lower volume seller. The Hornet's a very low seller. The GX would be a high seller relative to the total brand output, but Toyota can't supply these things for whatever reasons out of the plant in Japan and Tahara. All right, so we see 25 still coming in. So that's where this is misleading here. So yes, the raw data says, hey, there are leftover 2025s, but no, the 26s aren't even in yet. For the GX. Look at this. These are all 25s. And look, these are all placeholder images telling me that these vehicles aren't even in stock. Boots are not even on the ground. They're in transit. That's crazy. All right. There's only 90 and none of them on the ground, seemingly, in my area. In the EV segment, Genesis ranks first, well, the GV60 ranks first for leftover inventory, but does that mean that 26s are even out yet? Again, I'm having that issue with this study from IC Cars. Porsche Macan ranks second behind the i4. 23 discontinued models offer significant opportunities for buyers to negotiate a lower price. So here's the catch-22 here. Discontinued models are going to be a lower price, but because they're discontinued, the resale value and residual value theory isn't going to be quite as good as if the car continued to live on. All right, so end of the line models, yes, good deals can be had, but their value is diminished because it's end of line as well. That's a very general statement. Like if you look at something like the LC500, which was discontinued, a very niche, bespoke, beautiful car, those cars, even though they're discontinued, they're not going to be discounted. Just do your research on each individual car here when it comes to discontinued cars. So Stellantis models are piling up on dealer lots, and this doesn't come as a surprise. If we go to November here, this came out December 11th. All right, so I don't know if I've seen this update here. I'm recording this on the today. This just came out today. Oh gosh, I might have to make another video. This gets me really excited, really excited. So I run into Erin every once in a while at the press events. But yeah, she used to work for Audi, for example. She knows the industry like really well. But yeah, this just came out, and this is just a bombshell of availability and days supply. So yes, we'll go back to IC cars. Now, IC cars is looking at leftover models, which does correlate to this list we have here. But this list says, hey, this is how many days supply the manufacturers have. What does that mean? 60 days supply is the gold standard for a healthy dealership. Okay, that's where they can maximize profitability. They don't have to have a huge inventory. They have a quick turnaround and selling. They get the car, they sell the car. They get the car, they sell the car without having to incentivize it, drop the prices too much, etc. All right, or have to pay for those cars to be on the lot. But when we look at the industry average, is now at 90. Last month, I don't think it was at 90. It looks like 90 days was where it was at last month. All right, so it's kind of holding steady, but holding steady in the busiest time of the year is a potential like red flag. Okay. You would think that day supply would be going down as they clear out old inventory, but day supply has remained steady instead. So we look at Jeep, Chrysler, Lincoln's a Ford brand, obviously, but these brands, Audi, Ram, Mini, these brands way up in the 130s and above. It's almost, you got the dealers by the cojones. You walk in like, I don't know, you walk in like Matthew McConaughey or whoever, whatever guy or girl has the most clout, the biggest aura around them. I don't know why I brought up McConaughey. I almost said Trump, but Trump does walk around like that. All right. You know, he always gets his way seemingly. Imagine you're channeling super big egotistical energy when you walk into these dealerships, Mini, Ram, Audi, Jeep, Chrysler, etc., because they have so many cars. They are starving for car sales. They are losing money with this sort of inventory at a very high rate. They need to sell these cars. So if they have any of these badges, they're going to just be begging you to buy their car. You are in full command and you set your price and you do not waver from it, or as long as it's somewhat reasonable. But 10 grand MSRP on some of these cars are not like, I just reviewed the Jeep Wagoneer S. Those things are like 30, 40 grand off sometimes, and I still wouldn't buy it. You know, this might be the best time for you to buy a Wrangler, for example, or a Gladiator, something like that. So, you know, these other brands, even over 90, they're still going to be desperate for your sales. They're going to be desperate for your money. They're going to be desperate for your attention. All right. So all these companies here kind of in the, like, I call this area the rock fight area. They're just fighting the middle ground. All right. These guys are at the bottom of the hill. They have no leverage. These guys are fighting tooth and nail to reduce the inventory. All right. But it's a difficult slog. On the other side, you can still get good deal. Like, even Toyota and Lexus, you can still get good deals on, and their inventory is rising a little bit. It was in the upper 30s at one point this year. All right. Honda too. Honda's inventory is surprisingly low. Why is it low? But Honda's inventory is surprisingly low because their sales were in the gutter last month due to a chip shortage from Nexperia. So Honda's has actually gone down in day supply. All right. Massively. All right. So we look at BMW, Porsche, Subaru. You can still get good deals on these cars. Maybe not Porsches, but BMWs, Subaru maybe. It depends. Infiniti, absolutely, you can get good deals on their cars. Chevy, if you can see in the background, I'm driving the Blazer EV SS. That's okay. All right, wait for my review on it. Acura, Acura has old product at this point, really old product, and that's what's hurting them. But still, their day supply is better than the average industry. So it's for the dealers. They're starting to lose confidence. For the buyers, we're gaining confidence as the dealers have so much inventory they don't know what to do with. All right, so that's a good thing. All right, so let's get back to leftover models. And again, I'll be able to weigh in on these sort of things. New cars with the most leftover inventory. Are you guys ready to dig into this? Dodge Hornet and the plug-in hybrid. Only buy this thing if it's more than 10 grand off. There's my advice. Average price. Well, this is the plug-in hybrid here for 41K. I would not spend 41K on the plug-in hybrid Hornet. It's fun to drive. It doesn't have that good of range. And who knows about reliability. Actually, I have reviewed the Alfa Romeos and even the Hornets, and they give me weird electronic issues. So, I mean, you almost have to pay me to drive those cars, but they're still fun to drive. That's the thing. They're not terrible cars. It's just questionable reliability, and see what kind of lease deal you can get, essentially. Jeep Grand Cherokee, I haven't reviewed one in a while, but they have so much inventory on these things that, I mean, 64... Guys, what world are we living in when the average price of a Jeep Grand Cherokee is $64K? There's a lot of luxury cars I'd rather have for that sort of money. A lot. That is a crazy. I cannot believe the average transaction price for a Grand Cherokee right now, or at least list price, is $64K. I would offer like $50K and under for a Grand Cherokee. All right, Alfa Romeo Tonale, it's the exact same vehicle as the Hornet here, and it's absolutely not worth 10 grand over the Hornet. They're the exact same vehicle with different styling. That is preposterous. These vehicles, the Tonale and the Hornet, they are one of the worst selling cars in America with some of the lowest interest from the buyer end. Chevy Malibu, rest in peace. Like, why is this vehicle on the list? Dodge Hornet, again, on the list. Dodge Hornet has made the list 3 times as the Tonale and the Hornet plug-in hybrid. Crazy. Let's keep moving. Grand Wagoneer, another Jeep product. In what world am I living in would I pay 92 grand for a Wagoneer long wheelbase? Never. I would pay maybe 60K for one. Maybe. Or I haven't driven one, so I honestly can't tell you. GV60 electric car. They're fast, nice interiors, kind of funky looking on the outside. Not worth 57K. There's a lot of other cars I'd rather have for 57K. Dodge Charger. Yeah, 59K. That's a joke. All right. I wouldn't touch a Dodge Charger unless it's like, it's got a big V8 in it, and I can get a really good deal on it. Nissan Z. Here's the thing. The Nissan Z, you can get great deals. Is one of my favorite cars I've reviewed in 2025. Nissan Z still has quite a bit of leftover inventory here. It's ironic because when the Z launched, it had no available inventory. Dealers were marking the heck out of these things, and it really soured the taste of the buying market for the new Z. All right, remember it had the hiatus from the 370Z to this new Z. All right, twin turbo V6. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's such a fun car. All right, and 53K, that's a pretty good price. You can probably get them under 50. I'm curious because it's one of my favorite cars. Let's look at Nissan Zs right now. I know it's not the majority of you out there, but I got to look into this while I have you here. Nissan Z, 35 in my area. 26s are out. Already discounts on them, not paying 70K for the Nismo. Here's a 65K Nismo. I mean, the front end is the best looking front end of the Z, but I just want a manual with it and the limited slip diff, which means you have to get the performance model. So at least in my area, we're getting $5-6 grand discounts. All right, well under or close to $50,000, sometimes less. You might be able to name your price on a leftover 2025 model here. They need to move those cars. So yeah, that's a fantastic deal. Probably the best deal I've seen on this list so far is a Nissan Z, but it's extraordinarily niche. Not everyone can afford 50K to drop on a performance toy. Wrangler, plug-in hybrid. Do not buy this car. It is under recall. In fact, you might not be able to buy this thing. All right. That's maybe why the inventory is high, because it could be on stop sale. There's so many recalls on the batteries, as well as just the electronics on this car and the engines now. The engines are also recalled now on these Wrangler turbo plug-in hybrids. So the only Wrangler I'd be buying is with the V6. All right. I like the Wrangler. A lot of people love to crap on it for reliability, but I think you'd be fine as long as you buy the V6 models, and maybe you can you get them in manual still? I think so. Let's look at Wrangler here, and oh my, guys, did you see this inventory? Do you see this inventory? I almost peed my pants. Over 3,000 units of just Wranglers. Look, it's not 4xEs either. Okay, so just Wranglers, which might include 4xE. I don't know. We'll look in a little bit. Over 3,000 in my zip code. What about all miles from? There's over 10,000. It's just too much to calculate for my poor website here. All right. So we look at the Wrangler Sport, and my Lord, you're going to be able to name your price on a Wrangler. Might be the best time in history to buy a Wrangler. This is absolutely bonkers. All right. So again, I want to look up transmission here. Manual. There's plenty of manuals in my area. You can get them for one for $36K. Let's look at lowest price here. You can always modify that. You don't have to have the nicest Wrangler. You can always mod $25K for a manual. I know it's not. It's a 2-door, but you can get one for $25K. And I want V6. Or am I able to look up V6? I don't trust their 4 cylinders anymore because they're recalled. All right, let's see if I can find cylinders, 6 cylinders. Here we go. Still $25K. This one, V6 manual. Beautiful. All right, the automatic's fine too. It's the 8-speed ZF automatic. So if you want the automatic, it's a great transmission. All right, transmission problems are not what Jeep is struggling with right now. All right, so $30,000 for this one. I mean, here's a 4-door for 37. I bet you can get more money off of this because of how much Wrangler inventory is. This is probably the best time in history to buy a Jeep Wrangler. This is crazy. My wife's always wanted a Jeep Wrangler, and she's always wanted one, and she's like a yellow or orange person. So let's see if we can find exterior color here. Okay, I don't know if she'd go for red. Don't know if she'd go for red. The purple's nice. Maybe she would go for purple here. Hyundai Tucson plug-in hybrid. Don't buy it. Don't buy a Tucson plug-in hybrid. Excuse me. The reason is it's extremely uncompetitive. And if it's $45K, forget about it. Just give me just give me the normal Tucson hybrid, because the plug-in hybrid doesn't give you more performance. It only has about 30 miles of electric range, and it's heavier, doesn't handle as well. And then you have to plug it in. So that's an additional nuisance. Until Hyundai comes out with their e-revs, you can forget about their plug-in hybrids. Okay. They're outdated at this point. Yeah. Don't consider, there's a reason why this is a leftover model here. Back to the Wagoneer, not the long wheelbase, but the standard wheelbase. I would not pay anywhere close. This is preposterous. Silverado EV. I actually really like the Silverado EV, but most people are not going to be buying an EV pickup truck, but I like the midgate. It drives really nicely. It's fast. It's smooth. The 4-wheel steering is great. I actually like the Silverado EV. It's the best big EV I've driven. Cadillac XT4. I haven't reviewed one. There's a lot of luxury. I would rather have an NX hybrid every day of the week for this sort of price. All right. More Alfa Romeos on the list. No surprise there. If you want a beautiful Italian car, see if you can get a good lease on it. Otherwise, don't waste your time. Maserati. Well, another Italian car here. Another Wagoneer. Ford Escape plug-in hybrid. Now this gets me interested. Look at this price. This is possibly another really good steal here. Escape plug-in hybrid. They're 93 in my area. That's, oh my goodness gracious. Lord have mercy. This is a steal. You might be saying, Kirk, Ford Escape is getting canceled. I know. Well, seemingly. I don't think they've done it yet. It's kind of like Nissan with the Altima. They said they're going to cancel it. Have they canceled it yet? No, they keep kind of limping it along because hybrids are hot. But I know this is a front wheel drive only hybrid. But guys, this is like Nissan Kicks and Sentra price for a decent plug-in hybrid here. I have not reviewed it, but I've heard good things about it. Like 25 grand. Are you kidding me? For a $40,000, that's 15 grand off of MSRP, guys. 210 horsepower is fine. They're not doing a good job advertising this car on their website. Like, I can't even find the range. Escape PHEV range is 37. That's better. That's pretty decent. So why would you look at a Tucson plug-in hybrid that's way more expensive when you can get an Escape plug-in hybrid here that gives you good range and good horsepower? It's fine. Like, what's wrong with this? And it's naturally aspirated engine. It's not turbo. This is my good friend Charlie over at Daily Motor. All right, this was a while ago. Obviously disappointing EV range because he used to live in Michigan. This is old Michigan house. He lives in LA now. So upper 30s. Now down here where I live, I might be able to get more than 40. This is an incredible deal here for the Ford Escape plug-in hybrid. Yeah, 25K. Are you kidding me? What a great deal. If you're interested in a plug-in hybrid. I know a lot of people aren't. I went in too far. Lincoln Corsair, haven't driven it, but it's worth nowhere near 58K, I can tell you that much. Hummer EV SUV, I just reviewed it. Some of you guys said I was paid off by General Motors. That's hilarious. I still don't like driving it that much. I drove it earlier in January this year, and I absolutely hated it. And then I revisited it just last week, not by choice. Like, cars just arrive in my driveway. I oftentimes don't know what I'm getting until the day of for car reviews. It's just kind of how the press fleets work down here. It's not always the case, but the GMC Hummer, it came back. I'm like, all right, I'm going to give this a second chance. I know I don't like it because it makes so many stupid noises and it takes up the entire road, but it has some redeeming qualities. So just watch my review. No, I didn't get paid by General Motors. You guys are out of control. Just because my opinion changes slightly on a vehicle from being like D category to C category, like I slightly upgraded it. It's still not a good buy in any sense of the word. It is for a very specific person who has, I guess you could say, small D syndrome. They have to overcompensate. Now, maybe that's not the case for a lot of Hummer drivers. If I offended anyone, that's the way it is. But if you drive a Hummer, it's because for some reason your personality is attracted to bigger, better, faster, heavier, bigger, better. Like America, you're maybe addicted to McDonald's. All right, that's what I think of. Hummer GMC EV is an EV that's addicted to fast food, and sometimes fast food can be good. All right. Land Rover Discovery Sport, wouldn't touch it. Mercedes-Benz CLE. Oh, that's the coupe. Yeah, that's probably right. I haven't driven it, but I don't want to say too much on it. But yeah, very expensive car. All right, if you want to buy an EV, here are the ones with the most inventory. Oh gosh, Charger's only EV at this point. I forgot about that. Well, now they have the inline six. But I would not buy the EV version. Do not buy it. Okay, GV60, if you want a luxury EV, it's fine. Okay, but guys, these prices are just way out of control. None of these cars I would pay anywhere close to what these prices are. So let's see here. New 2025 cars about to enter leftover status. Again, GX5, the 26s haven't even come out yet. All right, so that's not even... We're talking apples. Same thing with the LX. Now, LX is also, recalls are affecting the GX and the LX like they are affecting the Tundra. Tundra availability is down because of this twin turbo V6 recall issue. Quality control is a huge red flag for the twin turbo V6 Toyota Lexus models. Kia Niro. This is interesting. The Kia Niro is the forgotten about hybrid. The Kia Niro, it was at one point the direct rival to something like a Prius. It's kind of like this turtley hatchback thing. Niro right here. It is standard hybrid. There are hardly any in my area. It's got to be under $30,000 by a lot. The reason is because you have something like a Corolla Cross hybrid, and that hybrid is vastly superior to this in terms of power output. And now, these things are really efficient. I'll give the Niro that. You should be able to get good fuel economy here, probably around 50 miles per gallon, where the Corolla Cross is like 40 miles per gallon. But they're just priced too high. Kia needs to have an entry-level mass market, like here's 25K. Now we're talking. This is a really good buy here for 25K for a Kia Niro. All right, great hatchback functionality, 25 miles per gallon. All right, the price keeps dropping. $6,000 off of MSRP. So up there as well. Wrangler, it's a good time to buy, especially the V6. Ford Escape plug-in hybrid, great time to buy. That's standing out. Kia Niro here, great time to buy. Volkswagen Taos, only if it's an insane lease deal would I buy that car. 4Runner hybrid, well, this is the problem with the 4Runner, is that it's so darn expensive now. And the hybrid, while it's good, it's just, it doesn't provide enough benefit. You don't get that much better fuel economy, if any. You get better torque, but it's just like a lot of extra heft and weight for not much more performance or fuel economy for the Toyota truck hybrids. Ford Maverick, this is one of my favorite vehicles of 2025. Ford Maverick here, are we going to have another Ford product here that is just going to be an excellent buy? We know Ford has high inventory. Where's my F? And this includes the Maverick Hybrid. I would only be buying the Maverick Hybrid. I've had friends that have had the Maverick Turbo and the turbos go. So yeah, Ford Maverick, let's make sure you go down to fuel type. Just click in hybrid here. Hybrids are maybe about 20% of the availability of the Maverick, but let's go to lowest price. I'm a base model guy right now in today's market. Look, you can get a Maverick XL for $26K in my area. And that is a good buy, really good buy. One of the most unique vehicles on the market, 40 miles per gallon in a truck. And it's cute. It's functional. They made it less functional with the refresh and they made it worse looking. I think it looks worse with post refresh. But yeah, they took away physical climate controls with this refresh and put it all in this touchscreen, which is stupid. 4Runners, guys. 4Runners have huge inventory. This is going to be another vehicle here that you guys can get a good deal on. Obviously, we talked about the plug-in hybrid, but a lot of 4Runner owners that have a 5th-gen 4Runner, they don't want to buy the new one. It doesn't offer enough for them, and they're too expensive. That's probably the biggest thing, and people don't want to go from V6 to Turbo 4 in this. And I'm saying in general, there are some people who don't care, but the only 4Runner trim that I can recommend is the SR5 trims. All the other trims are just way too expensive. So we're seeing here, guys, $2,000 price drops on the 4Runner SR5. Well, here's one down to $40K. For $40K, it's a really, really good buy. Over $45K, maybe not. But low 40s is where the 4Runner's pricing needs to be at high volume. If we look at, you can just see Toyota's not trying to even build that many sports off-road premiums. It's all SR5. There are a lot of limiteds though. Are limiteds being discounted? Here's a $46,000. Oh no, it's a SR5 premium. Sorry. Let me make sure SR5 premium is unclicked. $6,000 price drop here, $7,000 price drop, $4,000 price drop. There are price drops happening on the limited, but it's still not a good deal in my opinion. If I'm spending over $50K on a 4Runner, I might just get a 1958 Land Cruiser, an old GX. There's a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of, an Armada. The Nissan Armada here is getting $8,000 price drops. And I would much rather, there's no question, I'd rather have a twin turbo V6 Armada, bigger, better looking than the 4Runner, more quality than the 4Runner. Just way more power, way more capability than a 4Runner in general, okay, at least from the factory. And these things cost as much as a limited 4Runner. No way. I would be getting you can get these guys in rear wheel drive if you want them for $52K. Great buy. One of my favorite buys on the market in 2025. Let's get back to the list. Land Rover Discovery, Elantra Hybrid. This is another model. So the Elantra Hybrid is just a little bit behind the Civic in terms of performance, a little bit behind the Prius in terms of performance. It is a really good hybrid, but unless you can get a crazy deal on it, which you can, you might want to wait for the new one to come out because the new 2-motor hybrid from Hyundai is fantastic. Watch my Palisade hybrid review, Elantra Hybrid right here. Oh my gosh, there are a ton. That volume's big. I wasn't expecting that. 234 in my area. Again, the Kia Niro is a really good buy here. Elantra Hybrid here for $21K. That's a great buy. Really, really good buy. Right up there with the Corolla Hybrid, but it's a better looking vehicle. It's more fun to drive than the Corolla Hybrid. And this still is the Highest miles per gallon vehicle I've tested on the channel, the Elantra Hybrid. Last time I tested one, 65 miles per gallon I saw, followed by the Camry LE at 62 miles per gallon. But that car has 225 horsepower. This one has like 130 horsepower, something really, really low. All right, so for the Camry to get that close to this vehicle's fuel economy and a bigger, more powerful vehicle with a bigger engine is just mind-blowing. All right, but Elantra is still really efficient for 21K. That's just a crazy good deal. Now, GR Corolla was also on this list as upcoming leftover models. And again, like the Z, the market's cooling fast on performance cars because people just people in general running out of money, right? So $3,000 discount here. Remember, I mean, this is almost $4,000 discount. Remember, guys, this is the refreshed model. It is an amazing car. It is still really expensive for a Corolla, but it is so capable on-road and off-road that even on track, rally, like it's just an amazing car, an amazing buy. Now the market is, well, this one has all sorts of stickers on it. No, thank you. No, thank you. That's crazy. I've never seen one like this before. It has like, all the Gazoo Racing stickers on it. Anyways, love the car. For some people, it's worth 40, 50K. All right. I think if this car was 35K, it would be breaking the market. And maybe the market will speak for itself and we'll see 10K discounts on GR Corollas. Time will tell. All right, let's get back to the list. Corvette. Remember, again, another sports car here. Remember when the C8 Corvette came out, that it was waiting lists. People are paying way over MSRP on Corvettes. All right. There's a lot of Corvettes in my area and E-Rays too. So 249. Oh, Z06. Oh my gosh. I want that. I want that. But we're going to keep looking. Let's do base price. Stingray 1LT here, baby. $7,000 price drops. It's a good time to buy a Corvette. Wow. It's a good time to buy a Corvette. Simple as that. Ooh, yellow looks great. So maybe I'll throw Corvette on the list for leftover deals. Corvette. Let's just throw that in there, and we'll come back to the list. We'll circle back to it here in a little bit. Toyota Tacoma. Have we seen the Tacoma yet on this list? And this is the first time the hybrid. Again, just too expensive, just like the 4Runner. That 2.4 turbo hybrid, too expensive, not offering enough benefit. Porsche up there on the list. No surprise, Jeep Gladiator. I'll put that in there with the Wrangler, but again, only don't buy it. Actually, the Gladiator doesn't come in a plug-in hybrid, but just get it in the V6 as well. I really like the Gladiator. Drives like shit, excuse my words. It steering's all over the place. At least that's the ones with the massive tires I've driven. So, it doesn't drive great, but it looks cool. You can modify them. You can drop the tops. It's still a truck. It's a really unique, flexible vehicle. All right. Subaru Outback. What is happening? The Outback just got a redesign. The Outback should not have this sort of leftover because the Outback's changing. Some for better, for worse. It depends on your opinion. But let's look at Subaru Outbacks in my area. Subaru is not even launching the Outback with a hybrid. And it's really ugly too, the new one. Guys, we got a $4,000 price drop on a Wilderness here. Now that's the older Wilderness, but still 42K instead of 46K. Here's one for 43K. I got to get in the blue with the orange accents. You got to do it. Or if you're getting a Wilderness, that's just me. I don't see the new models yet on lots. And hopefully I can get an Outback very soon for you guys to review. I should be able to. So wow. Yeah. Interesting. Let's look at lowest prices here. I know Subaru has risen the prices on most of their models. Subaru Outback for 31K. That's a good deal. That's a good deal. I'm going to put this on the list too. This is your last chance at a true wagon. Outback, low 30s, good deal. Now, it's slow as all hell, CVT, but I think that's a good deal. I do. More Corvette. Remember, we saw E-Rays, Explorer Hybrid. Haven't driven it, can't talk about it. GLC plug-in hybrid, haven't driven it, can't talk about it. Mustangs, again, more evidence of sports cars slowing down. And LX, again, LX and GX volume is down a lot due to production issues and quality control issues with that twin turbo V6. That's what I'm sticking to, all right, until I'm told different. Here are just the SUVs. If you're looking at SUVs with the most leftover inventory, again, just keep in mind some 2026 inventory isn't even available yet for some of these cars due to issues. All right, EVs with the most inventory of last year's models. Would I recommend any of these EVs? And the answer is, well, I haven't driven the i4, but I've heard good things about it. Same thing with the Macan EV. Haven't driven it. I haven't heard good things about the Macan EV. ID4, I've driven it years ago. Definitely not my favorite EV. GV70 is a fantastic EV. It just has really low range. I'm trying to think. I think they may have discontinued building that car in the United States. I think they did. So maybe if we get future electric GV70s, they might be coming over from Korea. Honda Prologue. The 26 models are out too now in the Prologue. Not my favorite EV. The synthetic noises, pedestrian warning noises, like the Hummer, is just a deal breaker to me. All right. Well, the Hummer, other deal breakers that it costs $100K, and it's just, yeah, fast food EV. 23 discontinued cars as of 2025. All right. So again, if you're looking at a discontinued car, the prices are maybe lower on them. Oh man, QX50. These are never buy that. But also residual value is going to not be good, or cars keeping their value over time might not be good either. RC350, maybe snap one of those up, or the Porsche 718s. Look at these prices though. There's a reason why they're high. Volvo S60 plug-in hybrid, that's a sleeper. If you just want to roast everyone and thinking you're not in an EV because it's a plug-in hybrid, like, yeah, the S60 TA is amazing. Subaru Legacy, rest in peace. You know, there are cars that will demand MSRP or higher, which are cars still like the Grand Highlander hybrids, the Sienna hybrids of the world. The new RAV4 will command that for sure when availability comes, which, by the way, I'm getting one next week for review, the Woodland, and I'll be putting it through the paces. But yeah, just this is the buyer. The market is now in your hands, and it will be in your hands at minimum for the rest of December if you're buying a new car, for the rest of for all of January, all of February, all of March. Now, when things warm up, April comes around, things start changing. Okay, incentives drop. Deals drop during summer because more buyers are out there, so demand goes up, so incentives drop. But as of right now, this is the time, especially for the models I spoke about. This is maybe the best time in history to buy a Wrangler. Could it get better? Could it still get better? I mean, when you're paying 25, like 30K for a 50K Wrangler, I don't know how much better it can be than that. Same thing with the Escape plug-in hybrid, 25K for a $40,000 plug-in hybrid. That's pretty competitive. I know it doesn't have all-wheel drive, but it's still a good plug-in hybrid. Maverick, like Nero, Elantra hybrids, great deal. Like, it's a good time to buy cars. And I'm going to finish with this. All right. There are quite a few cars that I've driven this year that have made the S tier. Okay. I'm going to save that for another video, but I'm going to pick out 5 cars that you should be looking at, some of the highest volume cars here that I have enjoyed the most driving this year. And we're gonna start with the Camry LE. Camry LE, 225 horsepower, 62 miles per gallon where I live. It's gonna be different if you live in hilly, cold weather. It'll be down to 40, 45. Crazy deal, super efficient, has the most comfortable seats of the Camry lineup. They're cloth seats, 25K, guys. Don't pay MSRP for Camry LE. Start at 25K for a Camry LE, regardless of many add-ons they put on it, and say, hey, 25K. This is where I want to be. And you guys will start negotiating down, but don't budge over 27K is what I'm seeing here. I'm able to see deals online for under 27K. Do I still think it's a good deal around 30K? Of course. I think the Camry LE is that good, but if you can get it for 27K or less, you have just given yourself maybe the greatest Christmas gift of all time, or a puppy. Maybe a puppy is pretty good. Now, another vehicle here that made on my top list, which could change because the CX-5 is getting redesigned. There's still a lot of volume here on the CX-5. Are you kidding me? $27K for a CX-5? I'm reviewing the CX-30 this week. It has its own merits, but a CX-5 is a much better vehicle overall than a CX-30. Look at this, $27K. This even has a paint-matched wheel arches. Are you kidding me? $27K? Fantastic vehicle. Amazing. One of the best out there in terms of practicality, luxury. It's fun to drive. It's a beautiful, timeless design. Are you kidding me? And this is just the S Premium. Let's just look at lowest price you can get in a CX-5. They're all good deals. All right, $25K. Fantastic buy. Amazing, 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 amazing buy. All right, so Camry LE to CX-5, and that includes the turbo if you want to get a turbo before it gets discontinued. All right, let's get into a family vehicle here, the Odyssey. What kind of deals can we get on Odyssey? You can't get them for under 40K quite yet, so that's a bit disappointing. But the Odyssey is objectively the best minivan on the market. It just doesn't get the best fuel economy. All right, so it just depends how much fuel economy is important to you. But this isn't as good as a deal as hoping. Only 2-3 grand off of MSRP for the base Odysseys here. One of the most fun cars to drive this year for me was the GTI. This one was one of the most surprising cars I've driven this year. You're seeing price drops on these already. 31K for GTI. Almost where do I sign? I know it's 32K, but that's a good deal. So we're seeing price drops here. Not as much as I would like. We need to talk about a couple more vehicles here. All right. We're going to do Nissan. Again, Nissan needs all the business they can get, as well as all these brands, right? But Nissan Frontier is my favorite midsize pickup truck. Inventory is not that high on them, but even the standard models here have the 3.8 liter V6, 28K for 300 plus horsepower. Great buy. Great buy. Even an SV with a 4-door here for less than $30,000. Forget about the Tacoma. This is the best truck in the midsize segment. So still good deals here. Are they as good as they used to be? Well, I used to be able to get deals on the Pro 4X for the low 30s. This is still an amazing deal for $36K for the Pro 4X. Really good deal. Now, they made the truck uglier post refresh, but the truck is still fantastic. All right, so really good buy there. Also, another vehicle in the Nissan lineup that you might consider buying. Well, a lot of them. Don't buy the Rogue. The Kicks is a good buy. Last, a Nissan, let's see here. The Pathfinder here. Now, I'm actually under embargo on the new one because I've driven the new one. Should I say refreshed one? But it's pretty much the same vehicle. Obviously, it hasn't been redesigned. Get out of here. Get out of here. Best family buy currently on the market. Stout, bulletproof V6, 3.5 liter. It's fast. It handles well. Under $30,000 for a Pathfinder 3-row family hauler. One of the best deals on the market. These are the best leftover deals in America right now. I have quite a few S-tier cars I've driven in 2025. Like I have about 20 S-tier cars I've driven in 2025, and that list could grow because I'm getting the new RAV4 soon. Anyways, so the best cars I've driven in 2025 that are on a healthy discount, it's got to be the Camry. If you're looking at a sedan and a hybrid, the Camry, regardless of trim level, you're going to be able to get a good deal. LE is just the most comfortable one. CX-5, a masterclass in design, interior, exterior. 6-speed auto is great on it. Standard all-wheel drive. The only Achilles heel here is maybe fuel economy, and same thing with the Pathfinder. Pathfinder you can get for under $30,000, 3-row V6 family hauler, bulletproof, and drives great. All right, wait for my driving impressions on the 22nd. December 22nd, a little early Christmas present for you guys where I can share the 2026 Pathfinder refresh updates. So here you go, guys. These are the best cars so far I've driven in 2025 that have the best discount. And then according to IC Cars, here are the best leftover deal cars that you can buy. But that's also my highly subjective simmering down. Okay, right? Because there's a lot of other cars on that list, like Wagoneers and Grand Cherokees that I wouldn't touch as leftover deals. But these cars that you see on this screen, if you're thinking about it, now is a good time. So thank you guys. I got to shut it down. Hopefully this has helped your buying decision. If you guys don't even plan to buy a car, you're just like understanding the market and seeing what the market's like, I would appreciate you guys letting me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, good luck buying your next vehicle if you're on the market. All right, happy holidays to you all out there, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.